Citadel of Holy Spirit. Women Convention 2023.
Joys are flowing like a river since the Comforter has come. He abide with us forever.
3.
It's the common version that we all know. So it's not as if I'm going to, because by the time I'm through with it, the 15 minutes might even be over. So I'm just going to remind us of what we know before as women. I'm going to remind us of what we know as mothers, and I'm going to remind us as what we know as teachers, sisters, as the case may be. A virtuous woman. Like the Bible in Proverbs 31 define a virtuous woman as one who leads her home with integrity, discipline, love, compassion, and the rest of them. Someone who leads her home with love, with integrity, with compassion. And the question we ask ourselves today, as wives, are you a virtuous woman? As a wife, are you a virtuous woman? As a mother, are you a virtuous woman? That is the question we have to answer within ourselves, because you can lie to some people, but you can never lie to yourself. I say a virtuous woman, as the Bible made us to understand, is someone who leads her home with integrity. Do we have what it takes to be called a virtuous woman? In our own little ways, do we have what it takes to be called, let me just use the word, a good wife, a good woman, a good sister, before we can now come to virtuous woman as the Bible described it? Can you be truthful to yourself to tell yourself that indeed you have looked at yourself as a woman and you can boast and be happy that you are a virtuous woman? What do people say about you as a woman? What do people say about you as a child of God? What do people say about you even in the church where you worship? What is the role you are playing as a woman of God, as a virtuous woman? That is what God is going to ask us. Because God has given us responsibilities as a woman, and if we don't fulfill these responsibilities, that is what will lead us to hell if we don't actually want to go to hell. But these are the little things that will take us to where we do not want to go. Because if you look at the world today, you will say that the women has indeed failed in their responsibility. Why are we having all this evil in the society today? It is because we are not actually doing what we are called to do as mothers. We are not actually doing what we are called to do as mommies in the house of God. Because I have seen so many churches today that are no longer holding water just because of the actions and the reactions of women in the church. And yet we are called to lead with integrity. I have seen great men of God today who plot about their fellow and women, even in their churches. Yet we are asking virtuous women. And then what we need to do today is to redress ourselves as a woman. We are women. And the duty for us as a wife is to take care of our home. We have our husbands. Thank God for some of us, or for many of us, that you still have your husbands today. I can assure you that it's a good thing, and you just have to appreciate God that that man is still by your side as a wife. No matter how he is, but thank God that you are still there, and he's still there. It is our duty as women to uphold our husbands, even in their little faults. It is our duty as women to uphold our homes. People see your home through you as a woman. You may not know that. It is one thing for us to dress up fine as we are looking today as a woman. But it's another thing to check if actually our homes are stable. Our children where they ought to be. There are so many of us that are here today, our children are not even with us here. There are so many of us that on Sundays like this, our children are busy in their rooms, fiddling with their laptops, fiddling with their phones. And yet, we are virtuous women. If you are asked today, what actually is your children doing? Can you be able to give account of what the kind of life your children are living as a virtuous woman? Because that is where God will start with you, first as a mother. Because if you get it right in our homes, then we get the society right. Why are we having all these negativities today? It is because we as women, we have failed in our duties, in our responsibilities as a mother. We are women. And there are times in the place where I work, I'm opportune to be in academic environment. And at times I will look at our children in the school, especially in the higher institutions. And you ask yourself, actually, is this girl coming out from her home, or does she have a mother for her to have dressed in this manner to come out? And some of us might even praise our children in that manner. Our children will be half naked on the streets, and we call ourselves a virtuous woman. And when you try to caution them, they will ask you the question, are you my mother? Do you have the right to talk to me? What is the society turning into? We are living the main thing that God has called us to do as mothers, and we are pursuing shadows. We are into competition with ourselves. We just want to be where we ought not to be because of what the society wants from us. That is why we are competing within ourselves. That is why we are pushing our husbands even to do the wrong things in the name of meeting up in the family. What is the responsibility as a woman? It is a responsibility to help your husband to build up the home in terms of finances, in terms of everything. You are there to be a partner. You are there to strengthen him. You are not there to scatter. Because there are so many homes that are scattered today as a result of the actions of women, virtuous women as we call ourselves. What duty are you performing in the life of your children? You will see so many women today that will stand in the church and they will give testimonies of how their children, especially the male children, are making money. What is their son doing as a job? They are glorifying the wrong things. Yahoo today is not a profession. Women are proud to say that their children are making it. It is the baptismal name that we have given to it. It is stealing. Anything you obtain, but in the wrong way, is stealing. Have you called your children? Have you looked in their eyes and told them what you are doing is actually wrong and is leading you to a very wrong direction? But we glory in that because they are getting money and bringing it to us in the house. And we forget that at the end of the day, we will give account of every life of our children as a mother. How are you encouraging your children, your husband? Can you testify that your daughter or your son, maybe something went wrong somewhere where your daughter or your son is, and you can stand boldly and say, my son cannot and will never do such a thing. My daughter cannot and will never do such a thing. This is what is required of us as mothers, as virtuous women. How are you faring in the church where the Lord has planted you? How helpful have you been? Have you made the church to grow as the Lord has commanded you as a virtuous woman? Or were you there scattering the church when others are trying to gather, you are scattering? You are a gossip, a virtuous woman. Wherever there is problem, you will always be there. Your name will always be mentioned. In the place where you are doing your business, your name will always be mentioned in the wrong path. Meanwhile, we come to churches and we become angels. How are we virtuous women? So many things has gone wrong in the society as a result of our actions. So many things. I know of a woman that her daughter was pregnant even under her nose. For 9 months, she could not detect that her daughter was pregnant. Until she entered into labor in her very own eyes. From day one, from 1 month to 9 months. She never left the mother for one day. Yet the mother could not dictate that the daughter of 50, 60 years was pregnant under her nose. Then can such a woman be called a virtuous woman? That you could not even look at your daughter and know when there are changes in her body. And that morning she was rushed to the hospital. She thought her daughter was having a stomach problem. Only for her daughter to put to bed. A virtuous woman. So we are busy chasing shadows. We are busy looking for money. When we are, neglecting our responsibilities as a mother. And that is why our children are what they are today. That is why our sons are what they are today. You ask the son, what do you want to become in future? He will boldly tell you, I want to become a Yahoo. Imagine that. You get to the academic environment, nobody wants to read. Nobody wants to read. Yet they want to pass. They want to have A's in the exams. They are ready to do whatever it takes to pass. That is why a student can give herself to a lecturer to pass. That is why a student can become a prostitute just to make money to pass. Because that is what is involved in the society. Where have we gone wrong as a mother? We are even assisting our children negatively. That is why we can always get special centers where people will write exams for our children. They tell me what will become of such a child when he or she grows up. A virtuous woman. Then the question is, how do we correct this? Which means as women, as virtuous women, we need to start from ourselves. It is something that has to begin from the within. We need to tell ourselves the truth. We need to tell ourselves that we are not getting it right as a woman. Then we need to redress ourselves. There are so many women today. We are really, dressed up, and people are seeing us as elegant people. Go to their homes. This is a virtuous woman. You can't take water from such a woman and drink. The entire environment is dirty. I know a wife of a man of God. She just lost the husband, and they only know her in the church. If you want to describe her, they will describe her like that woman that is dating. Probably they are insinuating that what killed the husband is as a result of dating environment. This is a virtuous woman. This is a woman of God. There are so many things that the Lord is expecting of us as a woman. Cleanliness is close to. It's next to godliness. Then we need to start from ourselves. Can people confidently come to your house without you running up and down to get things ready before they come in? Can visitors just visit you as a woman without you trying to run around and put things in order? I saw them. That is the question we ask ourselves as women. Can people come to your house and they will eat and they feel relaxed without thinking how this food was prepared just because of this environment? So many women are so lazy today that they need to prepare food for their children. At times when I'm moving around the road, I will see some women buying food for their children that are going to school in the morning. Food from vendors. Food vendors. This is a virtuous woman. Then we need to tell ourselves the truth. Are we actually getting it right as a woman? These are the little things that are expected from us to do as a woman. To wake up early, prepare food for our children, no matter how it is. But the home-made food are far more better than the ones who are buying on the roadside. Because you may not give account of how the food is prepared. And children eat it and they get sick. Why? Because we are so lazy these days. As women, as virtuous women. So it's not all about, letting people, trying to show up. It is about what the things we do even in our closet as a woman. That is what matters. That is what we give account of. So many of us, our daughters are at the age of cooking. But because we are trying to emulate the modern world, women in 21st century, some of us, our daughters are even at the age of 15, 16, 17, 18, can't even prepare common jollof rice. But I call it common because it's the commonest thing anybody can cook. We cannot boast that our daughters can do that. And yet, at the end of the day, when they get married, you begin to wonder, she will be having problems with her husband. And that is where the home becomes to crack. You cannot teach your daughter how to take care of herself, how to take care of a home. We have house helps surrounding us. And so we think we are trying to place ourselves there. We are neglecting our daughters. We are neglecting our sons to do what we ought to do. They need to learn. Because one day you may not be there. Let us be truthful to ourselves. Let us be frank. Death is inevitable. So you don't shut it up, or you want to just sweep it under the carpet as if one day you will remain here. Definitely one day we will all go. Then have you asked yourself what happens to your children if you leave them in the condition where they are? Not teaching them anything, not equipping them, not leading them aright to know God. Have you ever imagined, have you sat down to pause? What if you are not there? What will become of your children? A virtuous woman. What will become of your family? If you don't get it right now, you will never get it right. So this is the time of reflection as a woman of God. As a virtuous woman, we call ourselves. It is a period of reflection. You tell yourself the truth. Am I actually getting it right? If I'm called today, can your children be proud of you to say, my mother is the best? Anywhere. Can your church members testify that this mother is just the best? When you see her face happens. Can people that is in the same marketplace, if you are a businesswoman, you are here, can they testify that the best thing has ever happened to them? Can your friends give good account of you as a virtuous woman? These are the little questions that we now need to ask ourselves as a woman of God. Can your church testify that your presence here has indeed lifted the church? Or is it all about competition? Is it all about ego? Is it all about Mapandai? We have arrived as a woman, as a virtuous woman. And so I want to please ask us as women. As I am talking to you, I'm also talking to myself because I'm a mother with 3 children. And for those of us that had it easy in having children, you may not understand what it takes. And for some of us that had to stay for years. For years, when I mean years, I mean years. For God to bless us in that direction. I know what it means to be a mother. And we all know what it means to be a mother. And so, God has given us the commission to raise our children, because if you raise them well, they have made a very positive impact in the society. It starts from the home. If you don't get it right in your homes, then don't blame whoever is the president of the nation. Everybody's laying blames. And our politicians in our government. But have we gotten it right in our own little offices? Our homes are our offices. Have we gotten it right as mothers? Have we gotten it right as teachers? Have we gotten it right? We need to start from our homes. If we begin to correct our homes, then the society will change invariably. The society will change. We will get things right. See, a virtuous woman is a woman that fears God. How often do you lay hands on your children to decree what? Because your words are powerful. How often do you wake up as a mother in the night? You begin to decree words upon the life of your children, even while they are still sleeping. Virtuous women. How often do you just set out a day to fast just for your children? To tell God what you actually want from your children. How often do we do that? As a virtuous woman. People should know you as a woman of prayer if you are a virtuous woman. People should know you as a woman of peace if you are a virtuous woman. People should know you as a woman that is compassionate that has compassion for the poor if you are a woman of God, if you are a virtuous woman. These are the little things that is expected of us. And so do not condemn those that are in higher positions like the government, because we need to get it right from ourselves. We We are condemning them because they are the helm of affairs. What of the little office that you are occupying? How can people give account of you in that little place where you are? In the life of that servant, that maid that is in your house, can she go out and testify that indeed God blessed me with a wonderful heart? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Can people give good testimony concerning you as a virtuous woman? So I want to beg in the name of God for us to have a reflection of what we ought to do as a woman of God. Are we honest? Can people trust you with their money? There are so many of us, we know how to borrow money as a woman, but to return it becomes a problem. The virtuous woman, these are the little things that is expected of you. Little attributes of a woman. So many of us can go to any estate to buy wrappers. So many of us mess up ourselves as women. We have husbands and we are sleeping around as a woman. These are virtuous women. We dress up and we come out and we look good. But there are so many things in our cupboards. So many ugly characters. So many of us, our daughters are living with men, yet they are not married. These are virtuous women. What have you done? We don't even care who comes to marry our daughters, for as long as they have money. That is what it takes. And at the end of the day, your daughter will suffer because you have given her a wrong person just because the person presented money. Where have we gone wrong? Women of God. What is it that we are not getting right? It's a period of reflection. It's a period to talk to ourselves. It's a period to have a retake. Are you being a supporter to your pastor in that little area where you are? In the area of accounts, do you give proper account? And some people might think that God has planted them in a church just to keep receiving from the pastor, keep receiving from the church. What have you given in your own little way? Have you given your time to God as a virtuous woman? In that little thing that you know how to do best, have you presented yourself to do it? Without fighting? Without trying to chase everybody out for you to be the only person that is recognized? How many homes have you scattered as a result of advice you have given to your fellow sister, fellow women? These are questions that God is asking us today, that Holy Spirit is asking us today as a virtuous woman. And so I want to encourage us as mothers, because our responsibility starts from the home. I want to encourage us as mothers to please try and get it right this time around. Have you taken time to go through the closet of your children to know what they have? Is it what you have given to them? Have you gone through the phones of your children? They are doing assignment. That's the response we have. 24 hours in the internet, they are doing assignment. Do you actually know what your children are doing? And mothers can afford to buy phones of 200 and 300,000 for their children of younger age. Do you know what they're doing with it? Do you monitor what they're doing? Because we have failed in our responsibilities. That is why our children are learning from social media today. And that is why they are getting it wrong. That is why they are getting it wrong. So I want to encourage us. How close are you to your children? A virtuous woman. Can your daughter or your son be frank or be open to you and to tell you what he or she is doing? Or do you drive them away because they're always nagging? How close are you to your husband? Can your husband look at you and bless God for giving you such a woman? Can your husband go out and tell friends that my wife is the best thing that has ever happened to me? Can he testify of that? I know there are men that are so difficult to live with. But today we are talking about women. Can your husband be proud to say, indeed, God gave me the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh? Can your husband be so proud of you as a mother. There are so many women today that don't even want to do anything. They are so lazy. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to engage in any kind of business. All they are expecting is the husband to keep going out and bringing. And you will frustrate the man to the point that he will run away from the home. What are you doing in your own little way to support your husband? What are you doing to get your children in the right track? These are the questions that I'm going to leave to us to answer, because nobody can answer it for you. It is you that will answer these questions for yourself. And so when you pause, you now have a retake and now try to get it right. So today is a joyful day for us here. Today is the day that we remember our mothers in this church. Today is the day we bless them. As husbands, we bless your wives. As children, you bless your mother. Today should be a joyful day, but also a day of reflection. And so that when we get to our respective homes, we ponder on these words. Actually, are we getting it right? That's what I want us to ask ourselves. When you get to your house, sit down and ask yourself, am I really getting it right? Can I give account of where my children are today? Can I be proud to say, indeed, I have done what is expected of me to do as a virtuous woman? And if Jesus comes today, can he say, well done, my daughter? Indeed, in this office I called you, you did well. You did well, and he will welcome you. Are you honest to yourselves? Are you truthful to yourselves? So with this little, I call it an advice to us as women. I also want us to go home with all that I have been able to say. I know it's almost 15 minutes. But I believe and I'm trusting God to touch us one more time as women. To touch us one more time as women. So at the end of the day, when the appointed time for us to meet our God comes, we will not have any regrets whatsoever. We will not look back and say, I was not able to do this, I was not able to do that. And so as women, as members in the church, as teachers, as mothers, as aunties, as friends, wherever you find yourself, always try to be that woman that God will look down from above and say, behold my daughter. That God will be proud of you. You don't need to please everybody, but always know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. And that he that is the rewarder of those that diligently seek him, that at the appointed time he will reward you. At the appointed time, God will reward you for your selfless service to humanity, to your family, and to the church. Amen.